Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and welcome to the new moon in Cancer for this July 17th of 2023. This is the last new moon in Cancer that we will have that will oppose Pluto in Capricorn in our lifetime. No pressure. Welcome to your astrology forecast for today, and I hope that you guys enjoy it and stuff, and hope that you guys had a wonderful weekend. We definitely have an intense day ahead of us, so let's go ahead and hop right into it and just let's go over what is going to be happening today, what you can expect and stuff. And yeah, we are definitely, like I said, heading towards a rather intense day. Well, this is the new moon. We have reached the new moon in Cancer. It will occur here at 24 degrees, really close to 25 degrees, mind you. This will be happening around 2:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely it's going to look right there in the early afternoon that we're going to start to feel this energy. Now, the other things that we have to consider, of course, this moon. It's building up. It's coming off the sextile to Uranus. It would have sextile to Uranus earlier in the day. In fact, I'll go ahead and just show you that. It's pretty much like earlier, pretty much as the day began. So, because right now, as I'm making this, it's 8:28. So the moon will sextile that around like in the morning, around like 10:30 or so is when that sextile is going to pretty much happen. 9:30 to 10:30 is when that sextile is going to happen. Nice energy, right? Of course, building up to this new moon. So there's definitely going to be this element where when it comes to like our emotions, we're going through like a renewal where we really want to feel good. There's also going to be sort of like a renewal with like the home life or sanctuary. We want to receive and feel comfortable in our home space, right? But of course, with the sextile to Uranus, this may throw some interesting curves our way. You know what I mean? There's some interesting opportunities here. So maybe you have the opportunity to kind of do something different with your home space. Maybe you kind of rearrange some things, that could be another aspect. Maybe you rearrange some furniture, that could be another thing to kind of switch up the energy and maybe change things up a little bit, things like that can definitely happen. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's good to just kind of rearrange your space. So especially with this new moon right now, and we're wanting to like really feel good and receive this energy. We're wanting to receive, our sense of value that we belong here, right? So maybe this is a good time to kind of rearrange things in your home. Maybe you buy something, like maybe you buy like some wall decor or something like that. And this could be a time where you might want to just kind of switch it up a little bit, just because. Now, the actual new moon, like I said, happens at 24 degrees here, set around 2:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as you can see, this moon is really close to this trine with Neptune, right? Beautiful positive energy. But we have to still ask ourselves, since Neptune is retrograde, right? You know, are we really falling for a certain dream? Are we feeling like a dream is supposed to look a certain way? But this is showing us that there's a lot of beauty here. A new moon in Cancer trining Neptune. This is like literally that moment where this is like a Disney princess kind of moment where you know the dude usually it's usually got like the dude, right? The dude figures out just how interesting and quirky this person is, this Disney princess, and they may not necessarily be the damsel in distress that they think they are, but they still end up falling in love with them, right? So that's kind of the energy that this is. It's like we may want to there's this feeling of like it's sort of damsel in distress kind of energy where the universe is telling us like, you're not a damsel in distress, you're not a damsel in distress. Look, just because the dream hasn't turned out the way that you wanted it to doesn't mean that you can't still have your dream or manifest your dream, if you will, right? So Neptune retrograde is definitely waking us up all to anyways, our current reality. You got to also remember Mars is getting ready to oppose Saturn. Sorry, my phone just went off. I gotta turn the volume down on some of these notifications that be coming through. So let me go ahead and do that real fast so that doesn't happen again. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Ring notification volume. Turn that all the way down. All right. Yeah. So Neptune, like I says, is waking us up in many ways to this new reality. Saturn is waking us up to the reality of how things are. And, you know, it's like, don't go and start acting like a damsel in distress just because things aren't going exactly the way that you want. You know what I mean? This is the time where you put in the, especially with Mars here in Virgo too. This is the time where like I'm getting this image of like, you know, yeah, it's sort of like Disney princess-esque where the knights want to come and like save her from the tower, stuff like that. But lo and behold, she's not just sleeping in that tower. She's like working, like she's like exercising up there. You know what I mean? She's probably doing yoga. You know what I mean? She's doing a lot of body exercise so she can get stronger. She's also reading a lot, so she's also strengthening her mind as well as her body. So like, even though she's like stuck up in this tower, right, and this dude needs to come and save her, she's not going to be the damsel in distress, super dainty, super whatever when he comes to get her. Nah, she's a killer. Like this is this is some straight up, like this is like some Shrek and Fiona type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the knight isn't exactly who Fiona thought the knight was going to be, but Fiona isn't exactly who Shrek thought she was going to be either. That's literally this energy, right? That's this energy. That's this new moon trining Neptune. And in many ways, that's also Mars opposed Saturn. Shrek and Fiona. And then you realize just how synchronized you really are and just how much you actually belong to each other. So that's the thing. You can look at your situation right now, but at the current moment, the way that things are, you do belong to that situation, to that person. Things can change. Absolutely, things can change. But the universe has us where it needs us. The universe will always have us where it needs us to be at that moment. And it will always move us out of those situations when it needs to move us out of those situations. You know, it's interesting. There's an element of free will that we have, but there's also an element of fate. So I think that's sort of the interesting thing about these energies is that, while we do have choice, our choice always lines up just about where the universe wants to take us. Even when the universe wants to take us down roads that may be off our path, that may be a bit of a detour or whatever like that, that it is still in all divine order. Even going against nature, it's somehow all connected. Anyways, so that new moon in Cancer, like I said, it is going to oppose Pluto. It's the last one that we'll see in our lifetime, where we have a new moon in Cancer oppose Pluto in Capricorn, unless you live another 240 years, which may very well be possible. It may very well be possible. There's some people that may actually see this energy again, right? Because humans used to live for much longer than we do now. We think that 70, 80, 90, 100 are good runs. We used to live over 200, 300, 400 years old. We used to. Way back in the day. But we don't. We used to actually get Pluto returns. We used to actually get Neptune returns. You know what I'm saying? We used to actually receive those, and we used to actually get those. But we don't anymore. So that's the weird thing about it. Now, what does this mean? Well, like I said, it's a boss battle. Anytime that you come up to some sort of opposing energy with a Pluto, with a Saturn, with a Mars, you're going to get a bit of a boss battle, right? Now, of course, with this energy right here, Pluto is at the edge of Capricorn. So this is dealing in many ways with the structures that society has built. This is at the edge of it too. Think of like the Roman Colosseum before the Roman Colosseum like fell, before it really started to like crumble. That's where we are right now. This is sort of like the last battle in the Roman Colosseum, right? And we can all sense that this is the last battle. You know, we can sense that things are collapsing. You're going to be also dealing with issues of freedom in many ways. Why do I say that? Well, Capricorn is all about tradition. It's about tradition. It's about structure. It's about order and standards. But with this opposition, it's like, well, what if we feel like these orders and this standard? What if we feel like it's not working anymore? What if you feel like it is relics of an older time and relics of something that people put in place hundreds of years ago? Well, it is. And things are shifting forever. We all can feel that. But the this is really going to be heralding the beginning, because like I said, I already feel like we are in the second half of the year, just in general, with like the energies are going on, but especially once that sun hits Leo, then the drama really begins. You'll see it. The drama is really going to kick off. Why? Because the sun is going to square the nodes and it's going to oppose Pluto at the same time. So the moon's going to hit that energy today, because as you can see, these nodes are here at 0, 0. They are here like on. I think it's interesting how we get this new moon and the nodes are still at 0, 0. It's like this last opportunity, right? Where it's like, okay, are you going to go this route right here? Are you going to go the Scorpio route? Are you going to go towards the route that looks exciting and edgy and fun, but that edge is going to like fall into the ocean? That cliff's just going to fall into the ocean? Or are you going to embrace this miracle seed in your life and plant that bitch and not just watch it grow, but nurture it, water it, protect it, and watch that bitch grow? That's the thing. This is a miracle seed that we can be planting today, right? And the funny thing is that when it comes to this miracle seed that you could be planting today, right? The action doesn't have to look like some sort of miraculous, legendary thing. It could be as simple as you having a conversation with someone that you've been needing to have for a while. It could be as simple as you say you already have established a routine. It could be as simple as you just taking the next step in that routine. It could be very simple. It can appear very, very simple. It could be you rearranging your home and kind of changing up the energy a bit, or maybe lighting some candles, whatever like that tonight. Doing something a little bit different. Washing your sheets. I don't know. Washing the sheets on your bed. When's the last time you washed the sheets on your bed, right? Like, it could be as simple as that, right? But there's a miracle seed that can be planted today that will sprout and will grow something incredible. I think it's cool how we also have, it's like 0, 11, 11, 2, 2. So we literally have all this double energy in Taurus: 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. It's the most that you could have. I mean, there's no 3, 3 because that'll be in Gemini energy, right? So it's like, I think that's interesting that we have that as well going on in Taurus. So that definitely lets me know, especially with Jupiter here at 11 degrees, wanting to really show that the party can be in this place, right? That the journey, because Jupiter in many ways is about the journey. It's about it's about the adventure, right? That, being that it's in Taurus, we got to find excitement in those sort of things and so the sort of areas. And then Uranus here is always going to throw a fun wrench into it. I mean, this is literally like Jupiter, Uranus, whatever like that. Everyone's like, oh, like the farm seems so boring, whatever like that. It's just hard work. No, but then you get crop circles. Like Uranus and Taurus is literally crop circles. You know what I mean? It's like aliens like picking up the cows and shit like that. Y'all think that just because it's like way out there in the country and that there's no nightlife, only it's not the nightlife that you get in a city, you think that it's boring, whatever like that. But that ain't true. That ain't true. A lot of interesting things happen out there in the country, right? That's the thing about it. I don't know why it never even like occurred to me that Uranus and Taurus is literally crop circles. It's literally crop circles. Like seriously. But we want to go over here sometimes, where we think that there's edge. In the city, it's a little grimy. Nightlife might be cool and stuff like that, sure. But you also don't want to necessarily make those particular energetic investments that are going to wind you up in a situation that you really don't want to be in, right? Now that's the thing. These are the situations where it's like, yeah, I mean, this energy has been happening this whole time with the South Node of Scorpio. These are the energies where it's like, especially anything to do with sex. I'm gonna just be straight up honest, like just random encounters, like for like one night stands. This is the kind of energy that will definitely produce a baby because it'll just lead you in like this whole random direction that you just was not intending. You know what I mean? So I think we got to find that balance between having fun, but also not taking it to the point where it's like we don't consider the future ramifications of our actions, right? That's the whole lesson with the South Node in Scorpio, right? So yeah, like are you gonna are you gonna go into that direction? You know what I mean? Or are you going to pay attention more to this energy? Because bam, those energies are going to pretty much move to 25 degrees. Well, the moon will still be at 25 degrees, and the sun will move to 25 degrees as the nodes shift. This will be around 4:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and these nodes will shift. And oh, is that a square between now the nodes and Pluto? It has moved from a multi-modality square to an all cardinal square, where the south node is now in Libra and the north node is now in Aries. And we're going to be getting this energy, these new nodes for the next 18 months. Is that what's happened? Oh, oh snap, with the moon moving, continuing forward. Oh snap, the moon moves to 29 degrees. Is that a grand cross that I see, a grand cardinal cross between the moon, Pluto, and the nodes? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, wait, is that Venus at 28 degrees, the degree that it's going to retrograde at on the 22nd? Yes, it is. It's going to be there for the next 5 days. Yes, it is. Talk about edge. Talk about intense energy, especially when it comes to cardinal energy, the way that we direct things in our life. Aries, personality, ego, the way that we initiate things. That's what the North Node is. Moon in Cancer, emotions, home, the way we feel, sanctuary, right? The healing aspect. One of the modalities that the world has definitely not figured out. We've mastered Aries, we've mastered Taurus, we've almost mastered Gemini. But here's the thing, when it comes to these energies, it's not like we fully master one and then move on to the next. So we've mastered Aries, we've mastered Taurus, we have mostly gotten Gemini. Mostly. We don't know. We barely have scratched the surface of trying to figure out Cancer. We try to figure out Cancer, but we don't even I would argue that we probably know a little bit more about Leo than we do Cancer, right? And that's only because we already dealt with the fire sign of Aries. That's the only reason why I would say that, right? But when it comes to the Cancer energy, well, we don't, as humanity, we are really still trying to figure that one out, right? South Node in Libra, relationships, justice, the way that we relate to each other. And then Pluto and Capricorn. This is all about, society at large in many ways, at least like the physical structures, what we have, like this is like politics, right? This is regulations, order, you know. In many ways, it could represent, since it's also Earth, it's an Earth sign. So in many ways, it can also represent physicality. So it can represent, in many ways, how our physical resources and how they kind of look on like a grander scale. You know what I mean? So it's interesting with this that with Pluto having already destroyed a lot of this and having transformed this area already. Now, like I said, we are just in the time skip and trying to figure out what exactly happened. Now, with this North Node moving into Aries, it's definitely going to be a moment where it's time to, really put on our gear. You know what I mean? Throw our warriors gear on, because now we are really going into battle. North Node moving out, like we've done. I mean, Jupiter and Uranus are still here, mind you, right? But now that the North Node is here in Aries, it's going to be like, do you know yourself? Do you know yourself? Like, do you know yourself, right? It's going to be a pretty intense day. It really is. And even if it doesn't seem intense as you go throughout the day, just pay attention, because since these are at 29 degrees, I wouldn't be surprised if something interesting happens in the news today. I really wouldn't be surprised if something major happens in the news today. You know, I don't know what exactly that major thing will be, but it will have something to do with, honestly, someone's feelings are probably going to get hurt. To be fair, someone's feelings are probably going to be hurt, right? So there's going to be something with relationships, and someone's going to be feeling some sort of like injustice in many ways. You know, maybe that they feel like they're going to be wronged. South Node. All right, here's the other thing too. Oh my gosh. Now that the nodes have shifted, people are going to be calling each other narcissists more than ever over the next 18 months. And it's really going to be, it's going to frustrate the fuck out of me, because most people don't even know what narcissism is. But you're going to see people really throw that energy around more. They're going to start really throwing that word around. It's like, you're a narcissist. You're a narcissist. You're not. You're going to see that a lot more now. You thought you saw a lot of it over the last 3 years. You're going to see even more of it. You're going to even see more of it, where people are going to start throwing around words like narcissist, bigot, racist, sexist, homophobic. People are going to be throwing around these words a lot more now. Now, the question you have to ask yourself is whether or not you're going to react and respond to those things. Now, some people are actually these things, right? But I think, especially when it comes to the word narcissist, I think most people don't even know what that word means anymore. So if someone calls you that, are you going to emotionally respond in such a way to where it just seems like you confirm what they say, or are you going to kind of let it roll off your shoulders? That's the thing too about this. It's like you could let things like that kind of roll off your shoulder, because if you know who you are, then what someone else says about you, you won't take that as absolute truth or the law or what it actually is. Just because someone calls you something doesn't mean you are that thing. That's their opinion, right? Especially when it comes to those sort of things, like you said, narcissist, or you're, a bigot, you're this, you're that, whatever. You know what I mean? You know how much of that I've gotten over the last several years? Because I don't hold the traditional views. I don't hold the views of like your average Black person right now in this country politically, because I don't. So yeah, then that's the thing about it. So I voted for Trump. I'll go ahead and tell you that. Do I agree with everything that he does? Hell no. But he was a disruptor. I don't see him as a Republican or a Democrat. I saw him as a disruptor. I saw him as the wrecking ball that went through Capricorn. Like that's what I saw him as, right? And for me, as someone who wants to see this world change and see society change in a way that can help us lead towards more unity, we first have to destroy what it is that has torn us apart. And I saw him as a necessary domino in that chain reaction. Now, personally, I don't know if there's really anyone currently involved in politics that I think this is going to have to be someone that comes from left field, like way, way out there. You know what I mean? But like I said, I don't hold the traditional views of like I don't consider myself liberal, maybe classically liberal. I think I'm more like in the center. Like I hold some views from both sides. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to just blindly follow a crowd either. That's the thing about this. So it's like, especially with a lot of this energy too, it's like shifting. You know, there's definitely this element where people are going to want you to blindly follow a crowd, and then if you don't follow a crowd, then they're going to call you names and say this and say that. You know what I mean? It's very elementary, actually. It's interesting. Like nothing has changed from elementary school, where you just call each other names and stuff. Nothing has changed. The stakes are higher though. That's the only thing about it. Nothing has changed. Before it was like, okay, you got your feelings hurt. You know what I mean? Now the stakes are higher. People can lose their entire livelihood, right? Country alliances can break apart. People can lose money. The stakes are higher, but the it's still the same. People just calling each other names because they don't like what someone else is doing. So long as it's not like hurting other people, that's the thing about it. If it's not hurting someone, like really hurting someone, why do people care so much? It's because they want people to kind of fit into a particular box, their box. And like I said, with this Grand Cross energy, it does form a box. So we have to ask ourselves, how are we going to move within this squared off space, this squared off energy with all the cardinal signs? So yeah, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, definitely pay attention today. You know what I mean? This is going to be very important for you guys. I know Capricorn's kind of going through it. They thought they were done with Pluto, but and Pluto's going to go in Aquarius, come back into Capricorn, and then go into Aquarius. So, and I want to say that this is the degree that, I mean, that's an interesting thing about this, that this new moon is actually triggering the degree that Pluto will retrograde back to the second time, because it's going to actually retrograde to 29 degrees of Capricorn, and that's actually going to, and then it'll come forward again. So it'll station direct on the second trip back in. And when it does that, it's going to trigger this energy. So when that happens, remember remember back to July 17, 2023, like where you were, what you were doing, and stuff like that, because it's going to be like a flashback. You're going to have a flashback to today when that energy happens with that new moon. And I mean, just for like shits and giggles, let's see, when will that happen? Just for shits and giggles. Let's look at when that's going to happen. 29. Yeah, so okay, bam. So let me move this back to days. It's going to be next year. All right, so boom. So it's retrograde, retrograde, retrograde. Oh, look at that. Did you see that, guys? Did you see that? Did you see that? Let me move this to hours. The moon is going to cross over Pluto and move into Aquarius on the day. Yeah, it's going to move over Pluto and move into Aquarius on the day that it stations direct. And Black Moon Lilith is going to be where the South Node was. That's insane. That's crazy. I tell you, man, there's no mistakes with astrology. So yeah, October 11th, 2024, like October 10th and October 11th, 2024. Next year, you're going to get a flashback to July 17th of 2023. You're going to get a flashback, right? And the moon's going to be in Aquarius too when this happens. So it's definitely let's go back to now. I was just curious to see what it was going to look like. But yeah, this axis, this 29-degree axis between the cardinal signs will get triggered again, right? And when it gets triggered, like I said, that moon is going to go over, Pluto, and then Pluto is going to station direct while the moon is in Aquarius. It's going to be around like 5 degrees or so of Aquarius, right? So let's go ahead and get into the cards for the day. So yeah, typically like the textbook definition of like new moon. It's like it's all about new energy, refreshing energy. With it being the moon, it's definitely a moment where we can feel more refreshed from an emotional standpoint. But at the same time, I think what this is that like it's like we do feel like we are about to, it does feel like we're kind of about to go off into war. Now, whether that's happening actually physically, whatever like that, whether it actually happens, but it does feel like we are gearing up either for war or some type of new adventure, some type of new quest that's going to require us to do. It's going to require us to be in uncomfortable situations. It's going to require us to do a good bit of the spiritual work, and we can feel that that's about to happen. And today is going to be sort of like this, like okay, it's almost sort of like the last preparations before we go off into this thing. That's what it kind of feels like. So I'm telling you, once that sun reaches Leo and then Venus retrograde, you're really about to see it. Like that's when we really start to like ask ourselves, what's in our heart, and what we truly care about, what we truly value. We want to ask ourselves like what we truly love. Oh, we have a card that just came out. I have the Three of Wands. What else do we have here? I have the Three of Wands. I have the Four of Cups. Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. And then I also have the Four of Wands. Oh yeah, look at this. The four. Look at that. All right. So we got Four Cups upright. We have Four of Wands in reverse. We have the Three of Wands in reverse. Okay, so we got to make a decision. Right? The Three of Wands. It's like normally it's just looking out, and it's like, okay, now where am I going to go? It's sort of like it's interesting how you go from like the Ace of Wands, like, all right, I'm going to begin the journey, and then the Two of Wands, you get to a fork in the road. It's like, oh, which way I'm going to go? I want to go this way. And then you go and go and you go and you walk, and then you get to another stop point where you're looking out on a cliff, and you're like, oh, okay, this is a very awesome view. This is beautiful. But are you going to get like stuck in that area? Are you going to get stuck just looking out at the view and just imagining how the rest of the journey is going to go? Or are you actually going to go on the journey, right? And then you got the Four of Wands in reverse, which is definitely at least signaling to me is like, there's some sort of hesitation towards this initiation. There's a sort of hesitation towards initiating the rest of the journey, if you will. Why? Well, because of the Four Cups. We are ruminating on something. We're ruminating on, it's like, maybe we're just, he's chilling here. He has his wine. He has his like grapes and his what are those like apples, whatever like that. He's kind of just chilling. He's having himself like a little picnic. He's just kind of relaxing, whatever like that. There's definitely going to be this element, at least with the way that this deck kind of depicts them. Because that's the other thing too. I got to talk about with tarot. Every tarot deck, you have like your general descriptions of each suit, whatever like that, of each card. But different decks can take on different interpretations, right? Normally, the Four of Cups shows like a hand on a cloud, handing a cup to someone, and they're just sitting under the tree, just kind of like staring off into space, This one right here, all the cups are right here, right? They're right here. You have the lotus flowers as well. But he's just pretty much enjoying himself, right? He's pretty much just enjoying himself. He's taking time to chill. He's taking time to rest and to recover in many ways. It kind of has Four of Swords energy. I'm not going to lie. It kind of has Four of Swords energy. Now, juxtaposed with the cards that are here, there's definitely this element where we can feel a little lethargic. There's definitely this feeling where we can feel a little we kind of want to just sit there and dream. We kind of want to just sit there and look at the sunset, we kind of want to just look there and just like, look at the sunset and just think about the journey, the quest, and how beautiful and magical it can be instead of actually going on the quest. Bottom of the deck. Oh, I have the Magician though. Man, you have the power to create and manifest. You are the alchemist. You are the avatar that can wield all four elements. It's amazing. So I think what's going on here is that maybe we are questioning whether or not we can actually go on this journey. Maybe we are questioning whether or not we can actually commit ourselves to this path. And that's why we may feel like we need time to kind of just maybe that's why we feel like we need to take time to kind of just rest and chill. I think that's the interesting thing about this new moon of Cancer is that there's a bit of a balancing act where, yeah, we do need to take time to kind of pamper ourselves and to kind of, like I said, this will be a great night to even though it's like, we just had the weekend, whatever, like that, right? And maybe you do have to work in the morning, but this will be a great night to kind of just pamper yourself a little bit. Maybe run yourself a nice little bath. Light some candles, or shoot, it could look different for different people. Play some video games, read a book, watch like a movie with like your loved one. This is a good night for that. But also just consider and just know that we are moving forward into a new quest, a new journey. We're about to open a door, this Lion's portal, to this whole new reality in many ways. But know that you have the capability to manifest anything that you want. You just gotta you can utilize all four elements and bring those together to create something very, very powerful, something that's very, very positive as well. So I'm going ahead and grab the Oracle card for today. The Oracle card. So we have to find the balance between knowing when it's time to chill and rest and to ponder and to imagine. I think that's the other thing about this. The Four of Swords is really about just resting in general, especially from like a more like physical standpoint. The Four of Cups is more like, at least with this deck, I see it as like take time to imagine today. Take time to kind of ponder on the possibilities today, but also don't get so stuck that you don't ever move forward, right? And if the reason why you're not moving forward is because you are worried that you can commit to this path, or maybe someone's going to commit to you, know that you have the Magician card backing you up and that you are super fucking powerful. Right? So, all right, the Oracle card that we have for today is, we got begin now. Take your first step. Don't wait too long. Just because you got to that cliff and you see a wonderful, beautiful sunset, and you see the landscape before you, and you have this sort of vantage point where you can almost even see what is to come. And then you're starting to wonder, it's like, well, all right, well, before I go, let me have a picnic on top of this cliff, right? So maybe that's what we're doing. We're having a picnic on top of this cliff. But also, we still need to take that first step, right? You don't have to like go super, super far. You know what I mean? But there's from this element, it's like, well, sure. I guess we're probably trying to figure out like, how do I get down from this cliff? Some of you guys may just simply jump off and hope that there's a net down there. Some of you guys may find, oh, there's actually like a little bit of like a way to get down from this mountain. Came up one side and go down the other side. You know what I mean? And sometimes going down, you have to be more careful than going up. That's the interesting thing about it. So maybe there's a fear that like, now we've climbed up this sort of mountain metaphorically, and we're going to go down it so we can continue going towards our destination. You know what I mean? You have to be a little more careful coming down, going up. So I think there's an element where it's like, we see the beautiful view. It's like, well, let's enjoy this view, but you don't want to just get stuck there as well. You gotta keep it going. You gotta take that first step. I'm gonna draw one more card because I'm feeling called to pull another Oracle card. So I'm gonna draw one more. Literally, what did I say? Watching clouds, lie back, rest, and relax. What did I say? I said we are going to be resting, looking out on this cliff and looking at the beautiful view. But then we still have to have the courage and bravery to take that first step anyways. Wow. Wow. So, all right. No pressure. balancing active energies today. So that's going to do it for your new moon in Cancer astrology forecast. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And if you would like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. I will see you guys on the Tuesday astrology forecast. And so we are building up to the sun in Leo. We're building up to Venus retrograde in Leo. We're building up to this new world that we are all about to step into. And I think it's time to take the time to relax and chill out and rest when we need to. But also don't be afraid to take that first step today. Don't be afraid to take that first step today. So even if you don't go too far and then you have to camp out again for the night, even if you only walk a few steps, even if you get to that cliff, you enjoy it, and then you walk a few more yards, whatever like that, maybe you go a mile today. And then, night comes and then you have to camp out for the night, metaphorically, right? Take that first step anyways. Anyways, y'all take care. Stay blessed. I love you all. And I'll see y'all on the next astrology forecast. Peace out.